Good morning, school. It's a new year and time to set new challenges. I'd like to share with you my challenge from last year. The first part of my challenge was driving 293 miles to Fort William. Approximate driving time 5 hours 20 minutes. It did of course take me longer, dodging roadworks around Glasgow, stopping for lunch and more importantly stopping to take some photos of the fantastic views. I actually decided to drive an extra 10 miles out of Fort William to Speen Bridge to see the Commando Memorial. Speen Bridge, the perfect backdrop for a memorial to the commandos who gave their lives during the Second World War. This country was their training ground, a place where history was made and a place for reverence and respect. My challenge was to paddle 100 kilometres across Scotland from Bannervey to Inverness and then do a 96-mile solo hike carrying all my kit along the West Highland Way. Day one allowed us to paddle on the calm waters of the Caledonian Canal. A great chance to practice our skills. The Pepper Pot Lighthouse, built in 1932, stands at the point where Caledonian Canal meets the southern end of Loch Lochy. Here we are, parked up for the night. The next few slides show some of the amazing views from our travels. Fort Augustus was quite a happening place where even the ducks were chilled out. Some views from Loch Ness. Some midnight shots by Loch Ness. A great view on the way into Inverness. This slide shows the route that I walked from Mulgai to Fort William. A couple of pics of me at the start of the West Highland Way. A lodge telling me I was 4 miles in and still had 92 miles to go. Some lovely views just past the distillery. The beech tree inn showing us the way. The statue in the garden reminds us of COVID times. My wet kit and tent all packed up, I made my way up Conic Hill and down to Loch Lomond. I could still raise a smile even in the rain. This statue is a tribute to Tom Weir, Scotland's most loved mountain man. He introduced generations of Scotland's great outdoors through his adventures as a climber, writer, broadcaster and campaigner for the protection of the Scottish environment. After a wild camp, I had my breakfast on the edge of Loch Lomond. Here's some views. This bridge at mile 32 felt like a mountain as I carried my kit over Caleness Burn. 33.5 miles, the Inversnaid Hotel where I'd planned to eat lunch was closed due to COVID. Fortunately, I ate some of my snacks of biltong, flapjack and grapes before setting off in the rain again. A quick rest here before the next challenging section. The path twists, weaves and plunges amongst ancient highland crags and native trees. On the left, I just managed to squeeze through the gap. On the right, at mile 37, the view shows Island I Vow, on which stands the ruins of a castle. On the left, a steeper ladder than before. Another climb and onto the grassy, open section. On the way down the hill, I was praying the building to the right was the bothy where I could have a rest. Yay, it was! Inside, I noticed the best beds had already been taken. This left me with a place on a sleeping platform. I signed the visitor's book and continued another 3 miles to Banglass campsite, where I could enjoy the comfort of a hot shower, pub tea and use of a washing machine and dryer before settling down in my tent. Some lovely views and great weather at the start of day 4. St Philip was a traveller on foot, like West Highland Way walkers. He came to the area to spread the teachings of a Christian way of life to the Scots. The ruin on the left is the remains of a 13th century chapel built in recognition of Fillan's teachings, and its graveyard is on the right. The field at the top of this picture is where the Battle of Dalry took place. This is where Robert the Bruce was defeated by the English in 1306. There is a bench made to commemorate this event. After he was beaten at Dalry, Robert the Bruce and his army threw their weapons into this small lochen. This included Robert the Bruce's long sword, and local legends suggest it lies here to this day. A beautiful view, loving the colour of the heather. An early start with misty views. Loch Tulla. My wild camping spot for the night, by the ruins of Bar Cottage. This is where disaster struck. I was attacked by swarms of midges just after taking these pictures of my morning views. I ran back into my tent barefoot but stood on an upright tent peg. Ouch. I got changed, packed up and quickly started my ascent to Glencoe Ski Resort for a bacon butty. Passing Buachail Etive Moor, the great herdsman guarding the junction of Glen Etive with Glencoe. The next few slides show views from the climb up the Devil's Staircase. At mile 84, there's a ruined farmhouse which can offer shelter from the elements. Then there's the old military road. More views on the way into Fort William. Here I am, seated by the weary traveller at the end of the West Highland Way. All in all, I had a great time completing my challenge and raised over £300 for Langdale Mountain Rescue. I also donated a hamper from one of the lake's walking groups. It's always good to set yourself new challenges. These are some ideas I've had for challenges for me in 2022. The Rob Roy Way, another round of Wainwrights, and the Camino Way, 497 miles. And yes, I would walk the extra 3 so I could sing the infamous Proclaimers song. Thank you for listening.